We can't allow 150 babies to die every year in this state.
There's a big problem when 3 out of every 4 babies that die prematurely are African American.
So I know how to live with it, but I don't know how to get over it.
To learn how to combat the high infant mortality rate here in Hamilton County.
Infant mortality, which is children dying before their first birthday.
Yolanda developed preeclampsia despite getting medical care throughout her pregnancy and having a healthy lifestyle.
To address the problem in Cincinnati, which has one of the highest rates in the nation.
And this county had the second highest rate in the nation.
This is where we need to focus the bulk of our efforts. But there's hope. 2018 offered hope in the bright spots. More Black moms have accessed prenatal care early in their pregnancies.
My name is Elizabeth Kelly, and I am the co-founder of Cradle Cincinnati, as well as the systems lead. I've always been involved in women's health and primarily care for minority women who live in poverty. And in 2011 was given the opportunity by the University of Cincinnati UC Health to create an initiative around or help them decide what to do for infant mortality. We felt that the best way to do it would be to build a collective impact collaborative. So the two of us got together and started with the seed funding from UC Health. And then our first employee was Ryan Adcock, who's our executive director.
Cradle Cincinnati is all about a very focused vision, which is seeing fewer infant deaths in Hamilton County. And so if we want that to happen, we have to better understand the problem. And as we look at infant mortality in Hamilton County, we see that we've got one of the worst rates in the country.
Cradle Cincinnati is really doing a lot of work to mitigate infant mortality and really looking at the disparity between Black women and their white counterparts. And that is such a complex issue.
Why? So we went out and asked women, what do you think the issue is? Because when you have a rate that high, it's likely that you know someone who's lost a baby.
In the medical field, Black women, we know, are not always present, especially in the provider role. And giving that voice to Black women is so important because it's not heard enough.
Because nobody can speak for Black women but Black women. A lot of work for Black women is coming from society's idea of what we may need. And nobody sits and asks Black women, what do you need, Black woman?
I know a whole lot about what causes infant death, and I do. I know a lot about preterm birth. I know a lot about sleep-related deaths. I know a lot about birth defects. But I know nothing at all about what it's like to be Black, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to live in some of the neighborhoods of Cincinnati that I've barely spent any time in. If we want a holistic solution to this problem, yes, we need some people who know about preterm birth and who know about birth defects, but we need even more people who know what it's like to live that life in Cincinnati, and that's what Queens Village and those gatherings have done for us.
Queens Village is a dream of several Black women who came together, who stepped up to the plate to tell the story of what they understand as the Black experience in Cincinnati from their own lived experience. We started with a group of 10 women who decided they were willing to serve on an advisory board to really dig through infant mortality and why Black women in particular in Cincinnati were losing babies at an alarming rate.
What I love about Queen Village is it's a place where other queens, Black women can come, repower, speak to other women who's been through struggles like they've been through.
It's just giving me a sense of like family. So when I'm in that space, I feel like I can just be my authentic self. I don't have to code switch or be articulate with my words.
Black women are running around here being superwoman, doing this, doing that, and not taking care of themselves.
What Queens Village offers is an opportunity for you not to have to perform. There's no performance necessary.
If we have a place where we can come together, where we can swap and share stories and lift and empower each other, it can only be good.
I feel like we are sometimes shut down and can't talk about how we truly feel when we're in the room.
We are generally unheard unless we're screaming, and then when we're screaming, we are diminished. Our voices aren't heard, our pain isn't felt.
At a recent gathering of Cradle Cincinnati's Moms Advisory Board, women prepared to share their experiences face-to-face with medical professionals. Lavinia Jones is a new mom.
You'll hear doctors and nurses like, oh, they're just exaggerating,
Dramatic.
you know, and not really listening to them because it's a black person. But if it's like a white person, it's just like, oh my God, like this is serious. These preconceived notions, like if I give her this medication, they'll sell it. You don't do that to our white counterparts.
Black women want to come and share.
Meredith Shockley-Smith, Cradle Cincinnati's Director of Inclusion and Community Strategies, says physicians and nurses welcome the feedback.
Surprised is very often a response. Why are you afraid of me? Why do you feel like this is not a safe space? I think there's just a need for education and training.
To me, black women's voices are inherently valuable. The problem is that far too often, they are voices that are silenced. And that's a verb, silenced. That means someone is doing the silencing.
It is time that we demand that we give black women the space that they deserve and the opportunities that they deserve and that they've earned.
If we want to be successful, it's not because this feels good, it's if we want to succeed at what we set out to do, we have to center those voices. Those voices have to be at the very core of what it is we're doing.
Queens Village fits into the larger work of Cradle Cincinnati by giving black women a voice in a story that's often missed. In the history of infant mortality work and from what I've seen and what I've learned in the classroom, black women are always a part of the story but not telling the story. And Queens Village does just that.
This is an issue that affects black women, and so we need to focus on them, and what better place to do that than a place where they can feel heard, they can be seen by folks who represent them better than anyone else in the city.
We are telling black women today that we see you, we hear you, we love you, we are here for you. Black women, we are the long nails and the big hoop earrings. We are the backbones to every household, family, and relationship. Black women, we are the overcomer of obstacles. We are resilient in everything we do. Black women, we are golden.
I want Queens Village to be successful, and I want it to germinate and grow so that all these other communities where there are black women who are like me, who are looking for an opportunity, who are looking for an outlet, who are looking for an uplift, that we can come together.
To sum it all up, she is me and I am her, and we are all one together.
We are better, stronger together, and that we are allowed to rest and relax and repower.